Hey everybody, welcome to Narrative Live. We are back after a little break and we're back in time for a good time, it looks like. Tracy McElroy, how are you?
I'm great, Zeb. How are you?
I've been practicing your name and I don't want to butcher it anymore. You've just got back from a great vacation.
I did. First of all, I want to say a special thank you to some Twitter friends who made this possible because Minnie and me and I have never been to Massachusetts, and if it wasn't for the generosity of several people, it wouldn't have happened. So we left last Saturday and drove from Baltimore all the way up the Cape Cod, almost all the way to Provincetown, just a couple miles south of that border.
The birthplace of
And
freedom, of liberty or something, of America. That's where
yes,
it is.
and and we had 5 fantastic days there. One of our favorite things we did was we took a whale watching boat cruise, and it was phenomenal. Everybody should do it once
It
for
really is an
sure.
incredible picture. This is a actual picture you took of
I
a
did. I took
wow.
that
Those
from
are
the
hard to
boat.
get. Those are hard to get. Um,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Then after we left Cape Cod, we have a friend who lives about 30 minutes north of Boston. So we were able to stay with her and do a day trip into Boston to see all of the sites, which was fantastic and incredible. I do have to give you all a little hint. I love your seafood, but it's not Maryland seafood. So
Oh, you're throwing it down now.
don't hit me with the New England seafood is better because it was all right, but
Y-
there's nothing like some Old Bay and Maryland Chesapeake Bay seafood.
Now you have threatened to cook me some at some point, and maybe I'll get to taste the difference. But we should definitely have a full-on showdown of that at some point. I've also been
Yes.
away. Let me quickly share my photograph because I just want to say that I didn't get a free vacation from any of you, but I did get one from my family, so that was really nice. And they're awesome. And
Oh,
we
this is
had,
a beautiful view as well,
yeah, this is
Zeb.
up in
Where's
Muskoka, which is just north of Toronto, which is it's a beautiful lake territory. It wasn't exactly summertime yet, but it was beautiful, and we were celebrating a bat mitzvah, which in my day wasn't that big a deal, but these days I'm told it's a much bigger deal, and it sure looked like a much bigger deal for my 12-year
and
old
you had
niece.
lots of family gathered for your niece, and there
I
were presents
I
and
did.
all of that
I
fun
did.
stuff.
And then they were
Well
very generous to
deserved.
take me away, and that was really lovely. And that's exciting. Not as exciting as what's going on tonight at 9 o'clock,
Very true. The
because the
first
debates are
debate.
here. Dem debates are here, and that's we'll give you a little bit of analysis coming up. We'll have another show tomorrow to wrap up tonight's debate and preview tomorrow's. But first, just a quick programming note. Next week, we're beginning something that I've been working on forever. And Tracy, you can attest to the fact that it's been forever. We're calling it the
True
untold
story.
story. The untold story. How Donald Trump stole the elections without getting caught. You've read some of this, you've heard some of it, but there's been more discovery in the last few weeks about what really went on between all these countries who conspired to win the American elections for Donald Trump. And we've got the details. We'll start unraveling them episode by episode because it's a lot,
Can we
starting
just
next
give a
week.
Can we just give them a little hint? It wasn't just Russia.
I've been saying for a while it's called a multinational conspiracy,
Yes, you have.
and that's been what we've been looking. I mean, we've been just digging away and digging away at this, and we've been able to find a lot of the evidence, and we'll be sharing that hopefully before Robert Mueller gets to testify on July 17th. So you'll be all primed and ready with all the juicy details of what really went on to get Donald Trump elected.
Maybe some members of the committee will be watching and have some additional questions for Mueller.
Well, I mean, there's some pretty some of the stuff is just astonishing, as you know, and we're still working on some of it, and we're still confirming others. But that's beginning next week. Do join us right here on Narrative. And now, time for our segment for tonight's debate, which we're calling "Dis and Dat on Dem Debates." Aren't we good and
Guys, you
funny?
have no idea how much fun Zeb and I had today when he came up with this.
Well,
I think we laughed for a solid 10 minutes.
I think I was showing my urban credentials by doing that. The slang. I actually had to look it up on the Urban Dictionary, but there you go. So tonight, one of the debates. It's a big
I'm your
night.
urban dictionary. All you need is me.
That's
Zeb.
true. It's true. I should have. Now, it's 10 names, 10 big names, some of them lesser, the big, but they will all be on one stage in Miami. Boy, Rachel Maddow has a big job ahead of her tonight. Those are the contenders. Those are the people that are running for the American presidency from the Democratic Party. Some of them you know, some of them you don't. The guys you don't know are probably Third from the left there is Bill de Blasio, New York mayor. You probably do, but there you go. That's Jay Ainsley, or Inslee, I guess you say it, from Washington State. He's the governor of
Right.
Washington State on the bottom row on the very left. The guy next to him, he's from Maryland. Who knew?
He
John
is.
Delaney, a U.S. representative for Maryland. I haven't even didn't know who he was until tonight. And Tim Ryan of Ohio is right there next to Tulsi Gabbard, sorry, on the bottom row, sort of second from the right. It's important to know these guys because who knows who'll surprise you. They each have about 6 minutes to make an impression tonight. What are you looking for?
Well, I gotta say, I'm looking for Elizabeth Warren to run away with the show, Zeb. I just think that sh- she, this is her race to lose right now. Tonight she is going to show her colors and all of her plans that she's been putting out there for weeks, and I think she might run away with it.
You're absolutely right. It's hers to win. It's a difficult situation when you walk into a night like tonight, where there's so much pressure on you, so much eyes on you. Yes, she can own tonight because it's her alone, really, in terms of the top lead contenders. Uh, but that also means that she could screw up. She's not likely to. She's probably one of the most studied politicians around. Certainly in terms of policy, she's the most learned and she's most passionate about her topic. But that's a lot of pressure on her. I agree with you. I think she is going to walk away with this and make her potentially a front runner in the Democratic race. But if if something goes wrong, it could go wrong horribly for her. I don't expect that. Not tonight. Also, it's interesting that this is all happening with the background of the border crisis and a concern around how children are being kept away from their parents in these border camps. And you've been noticing that a couple of these candidates have taken advantage of that by going to a facility in Miami to talk
Yeah.
about this stuff.
uh, Many of the candidates from tonight and tomorrow night have expressed that they will be touring the Homestead Detention Center. But there's only two that are speaking tonight who actually have been there and been there today, and that was Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar. They'll be the ones tonight who can speak from personal experience about seeing what's going on. The others are going Thursday or Friday.
And that's a pretty big point because if you haven't been there, you can't really say what you saw. So the guys who are going tomorrow, I think Beto O'Rourke is and maybe one of the others, that's not going to be as impactful if they're just saying we're going to see it tomorrow. Uh, Beto O'Rourke does have a good standing around the immigration issue. He's certainly one of the contenders in terms of that. But it's Julian Castro
Yeah.
who really has a lot of potential here. You know, Miami is 70% Latino, and it's one of the reasons they've decided to have this particular debate in Miami is to see how much of that Latino vote they can really pull together. They are facing an enormous task. At the end of the day, they're trying to build together that Obama coalition. They need the Latino vote. They need the black vote. They need the gay vote, and they need it all to come together. And they definitely need the progressive vote. Those are a lot of people you've got to please, and each one of these candidates that's debating tonight and tomorrow night represents a piece of that vote. Someone's got to bring them
Right.
all together, and
It,
that'll be the challenge tonight.
it's
So,
interesting
yeah.
to note as well, Zeb, that Trump and his crew have been down there in Florida as well, trying to recruit Latinos for Trump. So,
And it is also interesting that this vote, the Latino community is actually split when it comes to immigration and illegal immigration, and somehow Donald Trump has been able to convince us that he's concerned about the children that are in his detention camps in the last couple of days, which is a new shift for him. But it'll be interesting to see whether that issue is able to galvanize some support for the Republicans. Still, I think most Latinos are likely to vote more in favor of Democrats, but I don't think it's as clear cut as it was before. Now, tell me about Well, I can tell you a little bit about Kamala. The black vote in particular is really interesting because Kamala Harris is beginning to chip away at Joe Biden's black caucus endorsements. He has five, which is very important to have five. She has four. And that means that we're beginning to see a shift within the community of black voters voting for Biden because it's the guy they trust and because he was Obama's vice president, to Kamala Harris. And that is a big deal.
that's a storyline that we really need to pay
Yeah.
attention to,
Yeah.
Zeb, because Biden really needs that vote. So
Yeah.
I also noticed, I'm not sure if it was last week, But Kamala, she's using her network of historically black college alumni to really get out the vote with the African American community too. So that has a lot of potential. That's a lot of alumni.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. It's going to be really interesting to see how Biden takes the hits tomorrow, especially on his race record, and that's, leads us to Cory Booker tonight, who I think Cory is fantastic. He's been a terrific senator. There are some clouds in his horizon, but he's a very very polished politician. He's very passionate, and he's sort of.
I'm looking for him to do really well
Yeah.
tonight, Zeb.
I agree, and I think he hit Joe Biden pretty hard last week, and Biden reacted in the wrong way. Look for more of that from Cory Booker tonight. He'll be trying to diminish Biden and trying to strengthen himself. He's a really strong politician. He could be a surprise VP nominee down the line. He could even be the nominee. So that's potentially someone to look forward to tonight. At the end of the day, it's going to be about building this coalition. It's also going to be about winning the progressive crown. And that is going to be the battle to look for. Warren versus Sanders. Tomorrow, it's Sanders who will be participating with Biden. But tonight, it's
Speaking of
Warren.
Sanders, can
Yeah.
we talk about this Tulsi girl? For a
Yeah.
minute?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call her a girl, but I would say
Woman, sorry.
there she
I
is.
didn't. I
Yeah.
honestly didn't know very much about her, Zev, until I started researching a little bit today. And she comes from a family of. Her dad was also a politician, and he was very LGBTQ, and so she was brought up that way, and she even knocked on doors for her dad with those policies. So apparently, according to her, she joined the military and she had some awakening, and she no longer feels that way. But it'll be. I hope she's questioned about that tonight.
She seems to have earned her progressive wings, if you're going to say that, over time. She certainly wasn't that in the beginning. And there's an incredibly funny ad, as you mentioned, of her and her dad running around Hawaii, convincing people that LGBTQ rights are not a thing for Hawaii to have. But that's one thing. People certainly do evolve over time, especially on that issue. What they is going to be very hard for her to escape is the fact that she basically supported Bashar al-Assad in a genocide in
Correct.
Syria, and you can run for the presidency of the United States when you've supported genocide, and it's going to be very hard for her to walk away from that. She's in the very low percentage figure, so it's unlikely to see her succeed. I will say one last thing quickly, because I lived in New York for long enough to tell you that Bill de Blasio is a very, very skilled politician. He's going to be tough. He's going to bring a lot of ammunition with him. He's going to surprise people. If there's one of those moments that goes viral tonight, it could be Bill de Blasio that does it. So I really recommend people keep an eye out for him.
Even though it's my understanding he isn't very well liked in New York City. Is that correct?
Well, I think generally speaking, no, he's not really well liked. He certainly,
I might also point out that neither was Donald Trump, and he's president.
right, maybe not being popular in New York is a good thing. I don't know. You have to tell me. So that's your contenders tonight. Quite a big group of people. I'm not expecting anything much from Mr. Ryan or Mr. Delaney. I don't even know why they're there, but the rest of the crowd will be really interesting. Amy Klobuchar will bring you a much more centrist point of view, which I think is important. And Beto O'Rourke, this could be his last stand. He really has to define himself, or he'll be gone in the next couple of weeks. Tomorrow night, this is what we're looking at on the debate stage. Also, an incredibly interesting night. Biden is going to have 9 big firearms pointed right at him. We'll see how he survives.
It's so interesting because I was reading today that this was just randomly selected for each night, and wow, it turned out that it's a real powerhouse the second night compared to the first.
Yeah, it is. I don't think that was the intention. They were really trying to avoid this thing called the kids table, which is what happened in the GOP primaries last time around. But it's just the way it is. It's it's still interesting to see because it does give Warren a real opportunity to define herself tonight. We'll be watching. We'll be back tomorrow with a special guest. But first, before we leave you, it's not a full show today, but we can't have a show without doing the tweet of the day.
Of the day.
And the tweet of the day goes to
Kyle Griffin.
Yay, Kyle.
Well, I was jumping out of my seat a little bit when I saw this, because if y'all don't know, July 4th is my birthday, and I am just so saddened by the fact that Trump is turning what should be a spectacular Independence Day event in DC into what I would call a Trump 2020 rally. But anyway, back to
you went full Maryland there with your accent. I don't know what. You must be having some good seafood today, because that sounded full
Don't tell
Maryland.
anybody, but there's steamed crabs out on my deck, and I'm going to eat them while I'm watching the debate.
Why you tempt me with such deliciousness that I can't have? I don't know, Tracy.
I'm sorry. But anyway, let's get back to that tweet. Basically, protesters, an organization I believe that's called Code Pink, has been granted a permit to fly the baby Trump balloon just blocks from the White House during Trump's July 4th celebration. I cannot wait. This is great.
I mean, I just can't believe that he's outrageously doing what he's doing, but I'm glad there's a response. As with all things Trump, it's going to backfire, but
yeah.
It'll be
One thing I read that I'm not sure people are aware of, the organization called Vote Vets, they will be giving out free USS John McCain t-shirts on the mall during the July 4th celebration. So I think that is trolling at its best.
Yeah, that is expert trolling. I like it. Well done to those guys. There'll be more, I'm sure of it. And we'll be having your birthday party from there too, won't we? Oh, I don't know, maybe. Well, I mean, if he's having a party, can we just join it? Can't we just say it's Tracy's birthday party featuring?
We could.
The fireworks by Donald Trump and what have you. Hey, we really need your support. Please donate or become a member with us, whatever. With us.
Support us. Subscribe to us.
Be part of our effort to expose the truth. At patreon.com/narrative. $3 a month. It's really nothing. I was going to say it's the cost of the coffee, but even your average coffee costs more than that. And look at those delicious things that you've created. Tell us more about those.
Okay, so during our first 2 weeks on Patreon, we did a special event where if you became a member at $10 a month or more, you would get a gift from us. So they're here.
They look so good.
I bought the envelopes. I'm getting the mailing ready, and they'll go out in a few days to your home address if you provided it to us on the Patreon site.
Yeah, and a really big thank you to everyone who donated during that period of time. Certainly a big help to us to cover our costs and increase our coverage as we head into 2020. Plus, we'll reveal the untold story just to those who donated. No, we'll reveal it to everybody.
We like to tell everybody. That kind of spreads the word.
Yeah, it kind of is what we're about.
That's how that works, though. But
we do. Thank you, Tracy. You put in a lot of effort into that, and it's a lot to do with all that you have on your plate already.
It was so much fun, and I just really wanted to thank the people who, from the very beginning, have supported us. You deserve the gift.
So patreon.com/narrative. Sign up today. There's lots of great ways to interact with us. Plus, you'll get all our shows in an easily findable place, plus other information about what we're up to on a day-to-day basis. Tomorrow, a big name joins us as we analyze tonight's debate and look ahead to tomorrow. That name is...
You know how I am with names. Okay, Greg, don't kill me because you've been on the show before. But no, it's not Olier. It's Oliar, I believe. Greg will let us know. He will come on tomorrow and he will set us straight on how you say his last name. But yes, he will be with us tomorrow and we will talk about tonight's debate and prep for tomorrow night's debate, and it'll be a great show, so don't miss it.
And there's going to be tons of fireworks tonight, so watch us on our Twitter feeds, and we'll be back tomorrow with all of that and more, and our big shows into next week, where we'll be looking at the untold story of Trump, Russia. Thank you for watching us tonight on Narrative Live. Cheers, everybody.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye.
Our founding fathers drafted a charter to assure the rule of law and the rights of man.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
Those ideals still light the world. and we will not give them up for expedience sake.
Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountain.
America is the land where dreams can come true for all of us.
When we allow freedom ring,
Flags of freedom fly all over Europe.
every village and every hamlet, from every state and every freedom.
Walk
We
together.
will be able to speed up that day when all the children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles,
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
we at last